I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first. And now, in order to make our country successful, safe, and glorious again, I will probably have to do it again.
There is no limit to how many times President Trump will tease that he might make an announcement that he's running for president. That was him at a rally this weekend. Interestingly enough, though, he then took on Ron DeSantis, the presumed other frontrunner in the Republican Party. He called DeSantis' endorsement of a Colorado Republican a big mistake. George Wills here, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, NewsNation senior contributor. George started the show by saying there could be a civil war brewing in the Republican Party. Can the Republican Party survive a civil war with Donald Trump in it? Is that possible?
It is possible. Republicans have been fighting with one another since Teddy Roosevelt fought with William Howard Taft in 1912, since the Eisenhower Republicans fought with the Taft Republicans in 1952, since the Goldwater Republicans fought with the Rockefeller Republicans in 1964. But this is different. It's more bitter, and it's about an entirely different style of politics. So it's very hard to kill an American political party, but the Republicans are doing their damnedest.
Liz Cheney seemed to indicate that there should be another party, almost sort of the mirror image of what you just said. Take a listen.
A lot of Republicans in the last 3 weeks that I would describe as empathetic to what you've been doing have suddenly found themselves deciding, hey, party over country. What do you make of those decisions?
You know, I think they are really indefensible decisions. People need to understand they're not bystanders. They're accountable for their actions. The people who are excusing and appeasing and enabling are also responsible for the impact of that. And words matter. And when you support and endorse somebody who said that they only will honor results if they win, then you are responsible and accountable for that.
All right, put the sanctimony of Chuck Todd and Liz Cheney aside for just a minute. She went on to say, if Donald Trump is the nominee of the Republican Party, the party will shatter. Is she right?
I don't think so. I think you will have a party with limited appeal, but a party that is durable. It's important to remember, Leland, that since the Republican Party replaced the Whigs in the middle of the 1850s, since 1856, the Republicans and the Democrats have framed our presidential competition. It's one of the longest, most stable two-party rivalries in the Western world, and it's not going to go away easily, and it's very difficult to get Americans to take seriously a third party.
Donald Trump keeps teasing, I might say I'm going to run, I might say I'm going to run. You can say, there's the calculus politically, there's the calculus legally because of all of the issues he has and whether the DOJ would indict somebody who is formally running for president. There's the financial issues because he'd actually have to start raising money in a different way. Put all of that aside, the moment that he does announce, he becomes the fixture of the news cycle day in and day out, more so than he is now, just the way he was 2015, 2016. Can we all get anything done if he's running for president for 2 years?
It depends a little bit, Leland, on how many people run against him. If he comes in and then first Chris Christie and then Tom Cotton and then Nikki Haley, and pretty soon you have 9 people running against him, he's got a rock-solid 30% of the party. And if the other 70% is divided 8 different ways, he might win simply by default. If, however, this can be framed as Donald Trump against 1 or 2 other alternatives representing seriously different styles of politics, then you might have a competition. The problem is there are so many ambitious Republicans eager to run. I could give you a list of 10 without blinking.
You could do 10 governors and then 10 senators and then 10 people who happen to also be in the Trump administration. Is there any effort behind the scenes to come up with that one person to challenge Donald Trump and, to use the old phrase, clear the field?
Short answer, no. Who would be the person orchestrating this? All of these men and women are ambitious. All of them have started campaigns, raised money, hired staff. They're not waiting around.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.